This is my hardware and software project. Today, I'm going to be talking about software, hardware, and peripheral. And the ones that I've chosen are Microsoft Windows. For the hardware, I've chosen the motherboard. And for the peripheral, I've chosen a mouse. I'm going to be talking about most of the versions of Windows. Then I'm going to be talking about the hardware, which is the motherboard. And then finally, I'm going to be talking about the mouse, which is the peripheral. Anyway, let's get to it. The first version of Windows was launched in 1985. But here's what happened before that. In 1975, which is 10 years before the first version of Windows released, two men by the names of Bill Gates and Paul Allen formed a partnership. Microsoft was never a big company. They slowly but surely went up the ranks, and they had a huge vision for the future. They were seeing one day that everyone was going to have a desktop made by Microsoft. 5 years later, in the year 1980, Bill Gates and Paul Allen both decided to hire Steve Ballmer, who was Bill Gates' former classmate from Harvard. IBM proposed to Microsoft a project under the codename Chess. In response to IBM's request, Microsoft decided to focus on making a new operating system that's unlike any other operating system. Not only does it operate the software, but the hardware as well. It's the foundation in which a computer software can run on. They named their new operating system MS-DOS. When the IBM PC is running MS-DOS, it introduced a whole new language to the public. Microsoft worked on the first version of the new operating system, was codenamed Interface Manager, and was considered at one point to be the final name. But they ultimately stuck with Windows because it made more sense, because it perfectly illustrated the boxes or computing. Windows 1.0, which is the first version of Windows, required a minimum of 256 kilobytes, 2 double-sided floppy disk drives, and a graphics adapter card. It was originally made by Microsoft for IBM-compatible PCs, although the first edition of OS from Microsoft was seen as an alternative to Macintosh, which is made by Apple. Despite getting a small amount of success from it, Microsoft still managed to support MS-DOS until they developed Windows XP, which is over 20 years. Microsoft put out Windows 3.0 in 1990, offering a performance increase, better icons, and better graphics, with 16 colors designed for Intel 386 processors. Its popularity grew by a lot following the release of SDK. With Windows 3.0, Microsoft rewrote the application development environment. It included Program Manager, File Manager, and Print Manager. Now the next one is Windows 95, which is obviously released in 1995. This was a game changer, so much so that it caused Apple's market share to decline during the time. This version of Windows has made significant changes compared to its predecessor. It's also the first time Microsoft used a proprietary browser, which is Internet Explorer 1. Which came out later that year in August 1995, to catch up with the massive expansion of the internet. The next one is Windows 98. This operating system was described as one that works and plays better. This operating system offered support for a bunch of new pieces, such as the FAT32, AGP, MMX, USB, and DVD. Now the next one is called Windows ME. It came out in September 2000. It included features such as the Windows Media Player and Windows Movie Maker. Next one is Windows XP. This one came out in 2001. This version of Windows has a redesigned look and feel, much like the last couple of operating systems. But it was made to the public in not one, but two versions. Windows XP Home and Windows XP Professional. Microsoft focused on mobility for both versions, including plug-and-play features, which allows you to connect to wireless networks. Because of this huge change, this specific OS became one of Microsoft's best-selling products of all time. Now we're moving on to Windows Vista, which came out in 2006. They added a GUI and a visual style dubbed Arrow, a new search component called Windows Search, redesigned networking, audio, and new multimedia tools such as Windows DVD Maker. Now the next one is Windows 7, which came out in 2009. The new enhancements in Windows 7 included faster startup time, support for virtual hard disks, better security features, better battery features, and a new and improved Windows Media Center. Now the next one is Windows 8, which came out in 2012. Windows 8 introduces a completely new redesigned OS, built from the ground up. The OS replaces the more traditional Microsoft Windows look. It's faster, and it just has a bunch of tiles everywhere that no one liked. It was also the same OS they used on their Windows Phone. Those poor souls who bought the Windows Phone. Now the next version of Windows is Windows 8.1. Windows 8.1 changed a few things for the better, which were found wanting in Windows 8. Notable changes include a start button, a visible start button. Because the Windows 8 interface was so bad, nobody liked it. It was an unorganized mess. It was garbage. I'm just gonna go out on a limb here, say it was garbage. Don't get Windows 8. You probably have Windows 10. Stick with that. It's way better. Because you can't even navigate. It's garbage. It's stupid. Trash. No, I don't approve. It's trash. Windows 10, though, I approve. That gets a Taha approved seal. Yeah. Another change included an improved start screen, Internet Explorer 11, and tighter OneDrive integration, and the last one, Windows 10. Windows 10 was released in 2015, and it's been described as the last operating system from Microsoft. It's now a series of releases that receives half-yearly updates. This OS introduced Microsoft Edge, a new browser meant to replace Internet Explorer. It supports Universal Apps, which Universal Apps can be designed to run across multiple different Microsoft products, like the PCs and the tablets and the smartphones. Embedded systems, like the Xbox One, it's been well received, but its automatic Windows update system is one area that's disliked by some people. And that's it for 90% of Windows operating systems. It's already gonna be a really long video. This is post me editing this right now, and the footage is over an hour, and I'm condensing it down right now as we speak. My god. Past me was so right. Hello, this is post me, and as I'm nearing completion of this project, I'm starting to get a grasp of how long the video is actually going to be, and it's only going to be about 10 minutes long. So, post me, you are incorrect. And the one before that, you're also incorrect. Now we're going to be talking about the motherboard. The base of a motherboard. Last one, computer mouse. Computer mouse is a handheld input device that controls a cursor in a GUI. and can move and select text icons and files and folders on your computer. And that's it. We have covered all the three things. We've covered all of the components of a motherboard. We have gone full circle. We have talked about the operating system, the hardware, and the peripheral. That's it. Thank you for watching, Mr. Harrison. Hope I get a good mark. Yes.